So, I know you don't like Fortnite. No one here on the we had on the podcast likes Fortnite. So, Fortnite, the Epic Games developers are working on a first-person mode for Fortnite. How does that make you feel?
Why?
I think it's because they're innovators. It's because the reason why Fortnite is still big, many years later, still amazing game, still has amazing controls, and still keep going strong.
Yeah, because they push envelopes, they push boundaries, and they do stuff. I think, really, honestly, this one, to me, honestly, this just seems like it's one of those things that they're doing it just because they can, and there's enough people that have shown enough interest in it. Now, my question is, since Fortnite is a bit of a competitive game, as it were, are they going to just lock matches to people who are only using first-person mode?
Well,
like they do with people with controllers versus people with mouse and keyboard?
Right now, well, I don't think the input...
Or are we going to mix bag the whole thing and just let first-person only players compete with third-person players and it just make it a clusterfuck?
There's a lot of rumors and speculation happening right now, but first-person is coming. They already teased it in one of the trailers a couple of months ago, but it was just a tease. And right now, competitive Fortnite is basically third-person build mode. So no build mode. There's some tournaments, but they were like experimental tournaments happening with no build mode. So it wasn't like official. It was just experimental tournaments that they did once in a while. So, and if they introduce first-person mode, a lot of people speculate if it's gonna be like, Star Wars Battlefront, when you can switch from third-person to third-person in-game, and because it's more casual. Is it gonna be the same thing with Fortnite? If that's the case, I don't think that brings any value to Fortnite. But if it's a first-person mode, and it's a separate playlist, like right now we have no build mode and build mode, which are both a third-person, but like they're separate playlists, and apparently Epic Games trying to start to showcase how many players are playing, each particular mode, and it's a 50-50 split, to my surprise. So this, all the millions of players that play Fortnite, 50% are play build mode and 50% play no build mode. And that's fascinating because I thought it's going to be like 80% no build mode. But no, it's 50-50. So when you introduce the first person mode, I can already see the players that, maybe Battlefield players, definitely Call of Duty Warzone players, they will definitely play Fortnite first mode. Because you have your Battle Royale, it's first person, you have all this, established, what you want to call it, mechanics or, status, you have your, there's so much history behind it, and suddenly you have this first-person mode. I can imagine it will have a really big impact on the gaming industry, regarding what the player base, players are, what kind of games they're playing. Warzone players, they will definitely switch to Fortnite first-person mode, just because Call of Duty is not doing really hot these days, for many reasons. And I don't know, I find it pretty interesting. Now, granted,
what? Call of Duty's not doing too well these days? Blah.
It's not because they're Call of Duty, it's because they fucked up for the wrong reasons. But that's the point. But I think a lot... Anyway, yeah, not the point. What the fuck I was saying? Oh, yeah. So, Mixie thinks that they will not do a really good work with Fortnite when it comes to first-person mode, because he thinks that they're going to switch the camera, and, the animations and everything is going to be still the same. I have a feeling they're putting more effort than they imply. I don't think it's just going to be like, just a simple camera switch.
Yeah, no, because it's not.
That's what Mixie thinks.
Any animator will tell you that. Yeah, it's not.
Because he's a game developer, he knows how much effort it takes to make, a first-person shooter. He knows that, and because you have to redesign all the animations and everything and all that kind of stuff. But then Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, because the thing that people don't understand is that when it comes to camera positions, like, the game almost has to be designed around that camera position as far as how things look in field of view and scale ratios and everything else. And first-person shooter cameras are not in the head of the player character. If you think about it, your camera is almost in your chest, not your face. So for the people to think that it's just going to be easy, okay, now we shift the camera downward. Well, now here's what has to happen is the arms have to be stretched out so that they look as though they're further away from the camera. Because if you take a camera model, if you would take a character model from Fortnite that is standing there holding their gun, you're not going to be able to see through because the third-person camera model kind of holds the gun down at a resting position. So now you have to change the character position in order to constantly keep the gun facing out and forward, which is basically how first-person shooters work. There's a lot more to it. I could keep going and going, but field of view alone again has to be tweaked, and assets has to be looked over and checked over.
I actually forgot about that. Oh my god, that's one loud ass fucking plane. Anyway, yeah, I completely forgot about the field of view.
With you. They're them putting all this work and this effort into this to make something that at the end of the day, I honestly, this is where I see it heading, as a playlist thing. It's going to be a niche thing that people are going to be like, oh, first-person shooter mode. It's going to be the McRib of Fortnite. All right, that's the best I can fucking put it. It's going to be a thing that people are going to want when it's gone. And then when it's there, they're going to be happy about it. And then towards the end of it, they're going to be like, all right, let's just get this out of here and get to the next thing, McDonald's. Not saying that. Actually, Fortnite is the McDonald's gaming. I'll say it.
I mean, that's an accurate description because, yeah.
It's easy. It's cheap. It's superficial. It makes you feel satisfied in the moment, and you're not happy when you're not playing it. Sounds like McDonald's to me.
Yeah, and it's not like Star Wars Battlefront where you can, cheat the reload animations because it's just, lasers. You don't need to put a different mag or put,
You press a button and the thing happens.
You don't have to pull.
Yeah, and it wasn't even reload. It was cooldowns.
Yeah, you don't have to put like a, pull a lever or something like that to reload the gun or put on a different mag. Yeah, and I get it. For a first-person, mode, you kind of need to nail those animations. Otherwise, it's very clunky and,
It looks horrible, and it takes you out of the whole first-person, visual of it. So, yeah, all the reload animations, they've all got to be redone. Any animation involving the hands and arms, it's all got to be redone.
Yeah, and
or done specifically for first person. So, I mean, it's not an easy undertaking. I know it.
For example, World War III, right? I think it's a fine game, okay game, but when it comes to reload animations, oh my god, they're clunky. They're clunky. I think they're on the, like Battlefield 2042, also clunky. Especially those old Vault weapons, your Battlefield 3 weapons, Battlefield Company 2 weapons, oh my god, those animations are so fucking clunky. Like Battlefield 2042, when it comes to animations, to like reloading your gun and everything, I do not like it because you can feel how clunky it is. It's just so I don't know how to describe it. It's just like the way the camera moves and the way your gun moves and the way he reloads and how instant it is, or there's no flow to it. And it just feels really wrong. And I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I'm really curious how they're gonna do it. How Fortnite first-person mode is gonna be. Are they actually putting a different team, literally a separate team, just working in this mode and perfecting it? Or they're just gonna slap a first-person mode in the most cheapest way possible and call it a day?
I think, and I don't even want to say that it's going to be the cheapest way. I think they're just going to take the path of least resistance. Like, possibly not everything will be animated, like building and stuff like that. That could be possible. That is a corner I could definitely see them cutting. Because, again, I don't see it being anything more than just a niche mode that pops up once in a while. Everybody gets excited in order to do it. They find some way to put a spin on it or a different flavor on it every time it pops up in order to help with the battle passes, and that's it. And I wouldn't blame them for doing so because I don't see it being something where it's like, I'm going to play Fortnite first person. Because really, if I want to play a first person shooter, I'll go play a first person shooter that's designed as a first person shooter. Not a third person that went, we can do first person now. I mean, Resident Evil did that and got away with it, but that's a whole different story. That's not a competitive game. Like, that's a survival game that you're playing. That's a completely different thing. So, like, I don't know why third person shooter developers like that think they can just transition to first person and it's easy. It's going to change the whole damn game. Cover alone. Can you imagine if they go and they fight through all that effort in order to make first person work, and every single point of cover you can't shoot over or see over?
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, because of where the camera position is.
Yeah,
it's not designed for it. I don't see it being something that's going to be a permanent thing for that.
Again, another fucking plane really loud. No, but
everyone goes quiet.
But then again, I do remember that they do have mechanics telling you in the game right now that you can't shoot through this cover because they have, they have like an X on your crosshair saying, oh, if you shoot, you're gonna hit this wall. So they already have that mechanic. So I'm pretty sure they can have the same mechanic in first person. I see no reason why it can be.
But again, I'm still talking about a matter of being able to see over it. Something that you would think is that, okay, the player character's head clears, but you can't see over, because there's instances of that happening in first-person shooters, where, because again, your camera is not always in the head. So that has to be considered, your wall heights and stuff like that, and then not only mention the scaling of the buildings internally when you change that field of view. How much is that going to change? There is so.
Well, we'll see, I guess.
We'll see.
Yeah, I just find it really interesting.